Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com here with a row of 6 screw caps in front of me. That means I've got all New World wines today. Set of 6 New World whites, 3 Chenins, a Marsanne Viognier. But I'm going to start in Australia with Arneis. Now, Arneis is a grape that they grow in Piemonte in northwest Italy and make some pretty nice tender, juicy wines there, and there's not much of it in other parts of the world, but Australia's started planting a bit, and these guys here, I can't remember what one of them's called, but the other one, there's 2 of them who do first drop wines. One of them's called Matt Gant, and Matt sprung to fame, I think he's actually from England. He sprung to fame at St Hallett's. He was their assistant winemaker there, and basically I think he did most of the stuff, and the main winemaker, Stuart Blackwell, said, yes, you've done a good job there. Anyway, I'm sure Stuart does something. I'll shut up. I'm going to taste this. Arneis, what vintage are you on? 2009? Yeah, looks it. Bella Copia, it says. I think that means beautiful couple or something like that. It says on the back something like, taste of Nashi pear. Again, Nashi pear. Probably means something to an Australian, but we don't get many Nashi pears in the UK. It reminds me of Dennis the Menace and Nasher. Actually, thinking about dogs, I'm spitting into Scooby-Doo today. Well, it smells clean, fresh, zesty. Yes, maybe there is a bit of that pear edge there. Fresh pear rather than tinned pear. Smells good. Smells like it's going to be refreshing and zippy. It's got that clean, crisp, citrusy acidity, balanced with this sort of fleshier pear edge. And it leaves it, there's almost like a slightly briny, savoury hint on the finish as well. Tasty wine. Yes, I like that a lot. Not if you're used to being overwhelmed by some Australian white wines, that comes as blessed relief. Now we're in South Africa for the next 3. Chenin Blanc, 2009. This one's at Zaltse, Bushvine Chenin Blanc. Yeah, this smells a bit more slightly jelly-like. Not all that keen on that slightly jelly-like. You can taste it almost as if it's gone through a process rather than... it feels a bit made rather than... When I say made, what I mean is it feels like somebody has done almost like recipe winemaking to it. It's almost like it's a bit too clean, a bit too fruit. I put fruit, F-R-O-O-T, in my notes for a wine like this. I may be wrong. Let's give it a taste. Well, actually, I'll recant everything I just said. It's got quite a nice, juicy, voluptuous, bit of peachy, and some more of that pear. I don't know whether it's Nashi pear or not, but I get this quite mouth-filling tropical fruit flavour, but then the finish is reined in. The finish, before you think it's going to go all blobby, you get this acidity and this slightly creamy, almost nutty edge, just to brighten up the finish. Chenin Blanc's known for its acidity, and that one's got it there. Quite voluptuous fruit, and then more tapers off. I don't mean tapers off in flavour. I mean it just cleans off the finish. That nice acidity. Good. It tastes better than it smells. Next one, another Chenin made by Ken Forrester, who's a ardent Chenin fan. I think his number plate on his car says Chenin. This is a bit more, golly, guava, plum, yeah, gentle. It's not quite as upfront and tropical as the Zaltse. It feels like it's going to be finer in flavour. And slightly, yeah, it doesn't feel like it's going to be as ripe. Let's have a look at the alcohol level. Oops, he said dribbling. 14% on the Zaltse, 13% here. Yeah, it feels not quite as fat and fleshy. Yeah, it's like a toned down version of the Zaltse. I think it's got finer flavours. I think maybe they've just picked that Zaltse that little bit too ripe. But here you're getting that juicy, sappy edge. Things like apples, those pears. If they're peaches there, it's maybe more nectarines. It's that where they've got that little bit of bite to them. And again, some of this slightly nutty, mealy edge to the finish. I was getting nuts there. Here it's more mealy, oatmeal type of character. Nice bit of yeastiness too. Can't remember how much it is, but it's not. It's a very friendly price. Okay, still in South Africa, Grootpost Chenin Blanc 2009. And now this is quite different. This has got like a green peppery edge. It feels like they've picked this quite ripe, or either they picked like one block that was very ripe and then one block that was underripe, and it's got this slightly green pepper. If you're into chemicals, methoxypyrazine edge, you do get that green pepper edge coming through in quite a lot of Sauvignon, certainly Semillon as well, in South Africa, in Australia as well. And yes, it's hard to believe it's the same grape in the same country. That's an intriguing one. If there's any characteristic of Chenin that it shares with the other two, it's this fresh finish. Chenin really has lots and lots of acidity, which makes it great for wines you want to keep. It means that they never sometimes they might need a little bit of acidification in warm places, but here you're left with that clean, fresh finish. But that fruit, again, maybe some of that nutty oatmeal character, but it's that weird green pepper edge that flits in and out. I'm not sure whether I like it as much as the Ken Forester, just because I find that character just a bit, pokes out a bit too much. Yeah, a bit of an wine. Let's see whether the next one is Tabilk Marsanne. Now this is talking about ageability. Marsanne from Tabilk and the other people who used to do quite a lot of it, don't see it all that much at the moment, is Mitchelton. But Tabilk Marsanne ages beautifully. You get them when they're 10-15 years old and they've gone into this mealy, nutty, honeysuckle edge. They're very nice when they're young, but it's really with their age that you see a lot of their class. Yeah, it's still got some of that honeysuckle and fruit flavours. It's very ripe oranges. But maybe something a bit more exotic like lychees, a bit of passion fruit, and again lovely acidity there. But the finish you're left with is beautifully clean and fresh. And it's got these floral edges, quite exotic blossom edges, that honeysuckle. When you smell that, it almost it's like you're walking past a hive in a summer garden. And on the finish, you're left with this mealy, precise. It's like minerally edge, and that's the thing that's going to keep it fresh and stern and upright for a good 10 years, I'd say. You get into one of these situations where you think, is it going to improve or is it just going to change? And you get into personal preferences. I like them with a little bit more age than that, but they will take a considerable age. I've had them that are like 20 years old, and they're delicious, but maybe not your style. Hey, final one, Clay Station Viognier from Lodi in California. Do not underestimate the power of Clay Station. Bobbity dum bum bum. I think this is one from the Wine Society. I'm not sure how much it is. Probably about eight quid, something like that. Viognier. It's not massively alcoholic. Sometimes Viognier in New World countries, you need to get it really, really ripe in order for those exotic aromas to develop. 13.5%. It's quite high, but it's not. You do see them sometimes 14.5%, 15%, and that for me is a little bit too much. Let's see whether this is in balance at 13.5. Well, it's got some of those more exotic edges coming through. I feel that they've maybe just backed off. I would have loved it if they'd pushed it an extra half a degree, because what you've got here is almost like a sherbet, bit of icing sugar, dolly mixture type of character, and you're getting some of those peach kernel and cream edges coming through. But I think that there was a bit more to emerge if they'd just hung on for another half a degree. But it really is a balancing act, Viognier. The acidity is tumbling as the fruit ripens, so you have to make a wine-making decision. Yes, it's rather sweet and juicy and quite voluptuous, and if I have a problem with it, the finish is a bit bland. Now, I'm not all for acidifying wine for the sake of it, but I'd have loved to, maybe, I don't know if they could have picked a little bit of the fruit slightly earlier and a lot of it slightly later. So you get the more exotic edges coming through in like the 90% of the blend that was picked at 14%, and then some that they picked like 11% where it's quite hard and acidic, just to give them freshness there, because I do find it lacks a bit of freshness on the finish. It's nice flavours, but slightly clumsy finish. Well, but it's an intriguing sextet of wines. I like the Arneis, the Marsanne and the Ken Forester, but the others aren't bad either. See you soon.